When people think of Richmond in terms of history, we think about the Civil War. It was the capital of the Confederacy, and all the battles that were fought around Richmond are terribly important. But most folks aren't aware we have this amazing Revolutionary War past and colonial past as well. Now, on the eve of the Revolution, Richmond was a very small town. Primarily, it existed as a place where there were tobacco warehouses and commercial ventures, that kind of thing. And topped the hill here was a church, St. John's Episcopal Church, which is famous world round for being where Patrick Henry mouthed off to the king, "Give me liberty or give me death." Now this is all before the Revolution. This is where the Second Virginia Convention decided to form a militia and actually take up arms against the British, whom they considered to be their mother country. Important things were happening, which culminated in the Revolution, and of course, Virginia is part of that. The problem for Virginia at this time is that their colonial capital at Williamsburg has two rivers on either side of it. And in 1781, Jefferson, then the governor of Virginia, had the capital moved from Williamsburg to Richmond, thinking that it would be more militarily defensible. Now we're standing on the edge of Churchill, overlooking what was then the city of Richmond. This low ground behind me, crossed by what was then called Shockoe Creek, that's where Richmond really was. That's the oldest part of town. Today, it's all kinds of warehouses that have been turned into apartments and other vestiges of our tobacco culture. But then, that is where the warehouses were, as well as the dwellings. And as we talked about, Jefferson has moved the colonial capital of Virginia to Richmond, just in time for a military invasion, in the form of Benedict Arnold. That's right, Benedict Arnold, now commanding British forces. So I'm standing now on the edge of Chimborazo Hill, where this becomes a battlefield in 1781. Benedict Arnold has landed a large force down at Berkeley. The only resistance that was offered to Arnold's men stood here along the edge of Chimborazo Hill and fired a volley and then fled. Arnold's men pretty much then walked right into Richmond and begin the first military occupation of Richmond. Governor Jefferson fled. Arnold wrote Governor Jefferson a letter and said, "If you will just let us be, nothing bad will happen to Richmond." This was more than Jefferson could take. And he sent back this real vitriolic letter to Arnold, calling him a turncoat and "I'll never work with you" and all this kind of stuff. And so Arnold had his men burn down the town. He was headquartered at City Tavern. Basically, they held this large party, drank the town dry, and then set the warehouses ablaze as they left. This ends the first occupation and the first burning of Richmond. And as we all know, it will not be the last.